In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to veganize a meal. Now that you know all about tofu, how to replace dairy, how to replace eggs, and how to replace meat, it should be easy to take some non-vegan recipes and make them vegan. I've got some friends coming over for dinner tonight, and I'm going to make an appetizer, a main course, and a dessert, and make them vegan. These are recipes that I've never tried before. They're recipes that I found online, and just with a few modifications, we're going to turn them into a vegan masterpiece. So we're going to start off with the appetizer, which is the Asian lettuce wraps. And I'm going to read off the original recipe for you to show you what I'm doing differently. So the original recipe goes as follows. 16 Boston bib or buttered lettuce leaves, 1 pound lean ground beef, 1 tablespoon cooking oil, 1 large onion chopped, 2 cloves fresh garlic minced, 1 tablespoon soy sauce, a 1/4 cup hoisin sauce, 2 teaspoons minced pickled ginger, 1 tablespoon rice wine vinegar, Asian chili pepper sauce, which is optional, 1 8-ounce can of water chestnuts drained and finely chopped, 1 bunch of green onions chopped, and 2 teaspoons of Asian sesame oil. Because I'm making this for later tonight, I'm basically going to make this mixture and then I'm going to refrigerate it and just simply heat it up when my guests arrive. So I'm not going to show you the part about the lettuce leaves because that's pretty simple anyway. So what does this recipe say? It says, in a medium skillet over high heat, brown the ground beef in 1 tablespoon of oil. Okay, well, because I'm making a meatloaf tonight, I decided not to use a ground beef substitute, but instead I'm going to use tofu for this. So what I have here is pre-marinated tofu, and I've already showed you all about the different kinds of tofu. And if you don't have a pre-marinated tofu around, what I would have done is taken a block of extra firm tofu, cut it up into really small pieces, and then marinated it in like a teriyaki sauce or in soy sauce with a bit of maple syrup mixed in there and some garlic, whatever you'd like to marinate in. So let's get this going. I'm going to turn my stove on to medium heat, and I'm going to put in a tablespoon of olive oil, or roughly a tablespoon of olive oil. I don't really like to measure when I'm cooking. That's just the way I cook. And as you can see, I've already pre-chopped up the marinated tofu, and I've put it into really small pieces. So we're going to add this to our pan. And all I really want to do with this tofu is to lightly brown it. So it's been a couple of minutes now. My tofu is starting to brown slightly, but I'm going to let it continue cooking for another few minutes. All right, I think my tofu is as brown as I want it to be. So as per the directions, I'm going to remove it from the pan and set it aside. Now, normally there would be drippings in here from the beef, but because there isn't, I'm going to add a little bit more oil to my pan before I add the onions. So it says to add the onions now. And to cook stirring occasionally, but it doesn't say for how long, so I'm just assuming that it's until the onions start going translucent, which should take about 5 to 7 minutes. So my onions look like they're translucent now, so I'm going to add the garlic, the soy sauce, the hoisin sauce, the hot chili sauce, and the rice wine vinegar. Now I have decided to not put the pickled ginger in, firstly because I hate the stuff, and secondly because I didn't want to go out and buy a jar that was going to be used for pretty much just this recipe. But that's the great thing about recipes, is that you can change them based on your tastes. So you might not like garlic, so take the garlic out. Or you might not like hot chili sauce, so don't put it in. Cooking's all about having fun. So now it says to add the water chestnuts. The sesame oil. And the green onion. And to cook for a couple of minutes until the green onion starts to wilt a little bit. Now this recipe, I think when you're doing it with the ground beef, they say to layer the beef and then layer this mixture onto your lettuce leaves, but I actually want everything to be combined. So I'm actually going to add my tofu back to this. This smells great. I'm just going to stir everything around in here. Make sure it's all nicely incorporated with the sauce. And I'm making a mess all over my kitchen floor, but that's what my dog is for, to clean up all my messes. So I'm just going to give this one more flip. And essentially that is done. So I'm going to turn my heat off. I'm going to let that cool for a little bit. And then later tonight, when my guests arrive, just before we're ready to have our appetizers, I will heat this up and then we'll put it onto our prepared lettuce leaves. So there's Asian lettuce wraps vegan style.